Hey, it's Steve. This is a quick hi here. I actually screwed up the website for tickets in the interview. Go to ParamountAurora.com, ParamountAurora.com for tickets to see Caliendo and also for my stand up show with Mike Toomey and Tim Benker. ParamountAurora.com. Now we start the show and then the interview. I'm going to go lay down.
This is live from my office. I'm actually in my office with my old pal, who's not that old. He's Frank Caliendo. What are you, 30 now? 31, 32?
I am 51, I believe. And a half. I think. Am I at the age? Am I old enough to start doing halves again?
Well, I have grandkids now, so you know the month thing, right? Like the youngest, I got 9, 5, and 1, or 9, 6, and 1, and one is 22 months. So I'm like 775 months now.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing months. I like that idea.
It sounds like a Marvel thing, superpower. You know, I'm like 775.
That or autism. That's
too much Tylenol.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knew Cochran and Caliendo are going political? All right, so here's the plug.
There are studies that tell us these things, Steve. We have 100,000 studies, and I did all the studies myself. I did them all. Joe Biden was part of the study. Folks, I'm studying right now for my final exams. Come on. How come I'm not in this? Let me be clear. This is going off track.
So, are you circumcised?
Which one? All of us?
So here's the deal. Yeah, RFK says if you're circumcised, you got a better chance of being autistic. I say if you're in show business.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah. That's this week. Yeah, if you're circumcised, there's a better chance you're going to be autistic.
Oh.
Listen, there are a lot of opportunities to find data, and we use those opportunities to our advantage.
Somebody got on me about that, like doing the RFK. I'm like, that's just the way he talks. It's there's obviously a medical situation there, but it's not making fun of his voice. It's just how he talks. So
That's how he sounds.
So you're not supposed to, like, if you went on and that was the joke was about that. But
no, that's how he sounds.
There are some things I like about RFK too. I'm just so, I honestly don't know, and you might hate this about me. I don't know what's real or not real anymore. I have no idea what is, and I even question, like, I went to school for broadcast journalism, so I really did. I had a great teacher who was, I'm a middle of the road guy. I had a very liberal teacher, a very liberal teacher, and he proclaimed it, and I loved it. I love it. If somebody tells you where they're coming from, I love it. So he's like, listen, I'm very liberal, but we had a class called media critical thinking in mass media at University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It was my favorite class because I did have some of these types of, it was common sense to me in a lot of ways, but he's like, there's no such thing as 100% truth because you're always being told about it through somebody else's eyes.
Right.
And
even if you're going with the standard journalism rules. The standard journalism rules, you still have somebody that has to write the piece, write the wraparound for TV, whatever. So you're going to get their flavor.
And you say, like, the interviews I've been a part of that were closer to like news, less entertainment, but more like somebody's a newspaper. A lot of times they come in with a narrative. They have a story already in their head, and they ask you questions to direct you into the answers that they want, that they know they can use because they're good at their job in terms of forming a story. But to me, as a person in that situation, I'm going, geez, I'm almost being manipulated. I'm telling truth, but I'm telling a side that I know they want to hear from me. Wow, it's powerful. And you don't always, I don't think the average viewer, listener, whatever, always understands that. And I get caught up in it too, where I get lost. I'm like, is that true? And I get fooled. My kids make fun of me now because I get fooled by AI stuff constantly.
Sure.
I mean, not the big stuff, not the obvious Trump wrestling a gator.
Trump shitting on protesters. That one you knew. That he didn't actually fly a fighter plane.
Listen, I do a lot of tough things. There's some difficult things, and I handle them well. A lot of people.
I do the quiet Trump. I do library
Right,
Trump.
right,
80 plus. Listen, I'm 80. I'm 80. I could be 90. I could be 90. Joe Biden was 77. Didn't have this energy. Didn't have this energy.
Um, so
you saw the video, right?
no, I did not see that one.
Okay, this is a video of Trump. This is AI, and it's not clearly AI. It's Trump with a king's crown on, flying a fighter jet over the protesters from the No Kings rally, dumping sewage on them. You know, as presidents do.
And did people believe this, or
I don't know that people believed it, but it was one of those moments with me to go, I don't know. I got to give the guy credit. He keeps finding a new bottom. I don't know how he keeps digging a new basement.
oh, he put it out? He sent it out?
Well, his people, and he reposted it.
Okay, so here's my take on that stuff with him. My take is, because I always try to look at everything, you know, he's a troll. He doesn't, he's a New York guy.
Bully.
You go to New York, it's worse in Boston. They just you hit somebody, they like to hit back 1,000 times. I don't listen to a lot of the stuff. I've done that with every president too, because if I start to get too much of a feeling, my comedy starts to tilt that way.
Sure.
And I always walk that line so I can make as much money from everybody as possible.
Which is what America's all about.
It's being a whore.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Do I have no principles? Of course I don't. I'm a comedian who doesn't care.
Hey, I never asked you this. Did you ever run across W? Did you ever do a thing where you and W went face to face?
I was supposed to meet him. I was in Jerry Jones's box at the Super Bowl in Dallas. And that sounds dirtier than it is. And
Yeah.
I was in his suite, not any better. And it was the Steelers Packers game there in Dallas. I had done a hit on a morning news show. I think it was actually Fox and Friends I did it on. It was it was promoting a show or something.
Sure.
Or no, actually Drew Brees and forget that Mark Sanchez. They were on the they were on the same one. It was just, it was at Super Bowl. It was media row type of thing. Went on, did the spot. And then I had it set up to go meet George W. Bush. Now, in that Super Bowl, he was sitting in a box. Bush was sitting in a box between him and John Madden. They were sitting on kind of bookended with Jerry Jones in between them.
That's like This Is Your Life.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was set up for me to go there, and the game was getting out of hand. It was a blowout. It was set up. Fox had the camera ready for me to go. Jerry got up and left. I was going to go sit there for a while. And when it was all queued up and ready to go, the game started to get close again, and Jerry came back. So it was set up for me to go, hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, I don't understand what we're doing here. You got Jerry Jones over here, and then you right there. And then who's the guy in the middle? That's Frank Caliendo. So I missed one of the greatest moments of that would have been 100 million people watching me sitting next to Bush and Madden at the same time. But yeah, that was the time. And when I went to get something to eat, how they have those little setups and stuff.
Yeah.
I went to go grab something, and Laura Bush saw me and said, "Oh, you know what? I know you. The president and I," she called him the president. She goes, "The president and I saw you on the TV this morning. Oh, he loves you." I was
that's great.
And I was like, I'm trying to so I never ended up meeting him because the game went closer.
Sure.
It got closer. And I'd met Madden earlier in the week, and he reluctantly kind of liked me. He wasn't sure. He'd always hated me.
Did he ever come around, by the way? Because I knew the first few times you came across him, he was pissed.
A little bit. I made his grandkids laugh, and that was kind of it. And I said, listen, I'm just doing this. This is just what I do. I think you're the greatest.
Right. Everybody
Everybody knows you're the greatest. This is just me being a moron. If it offends you, I'm sorry. But, can you pretend to like me for a little bit and take some pictures with me and my family? And he did, and it was
Good
nice.
for you, dude. Good for you. That's not easy. I'll tell you a quick Madden story. When I was a little kid, Darryl Stingley was paralyzed by a guy named Jack Tatum. This goes back to 70s football when it was all murder all the time. So they're in a preseason game, and Jack Tatum hits Stingley going across the middle. He's paralyzed for the rest of his life. So I'm a little kid playing junior football at 8, 9 years old. I write a handwritten letter to the Oakland Raiders and John Madden. Madden wrote me back. And the reason I know he wrote me back is because It was signed in a scroll that could only have been scrawled by a guy that just had a roast beef sandwich. And it was this very sweet letter to a kid. And I loved him after that. That's not to say he didn't turn into a prick as an old man, but I was really touched by that. I found it about a year
That's
ago.
pretty
It's
cool. That's pretty awesome. I think he was a tough guy. I think if you were in his circle, he loved you. But if you weren't in his circle, there's legendary stories of him just giving terrible nicknames to people
Sure.
and stuff like that. But I think it was I don't know. I think he just was what he is, but I do know a lot of people loved him, and he changed he changed the game. I mean,
Sure did.
created made it more entertainment driven just by being himself, and
Yep.
that's the fun of it.
Yep. And I hope you have a nice turducken for Thanksgiving. So here's the thing that I don't think people understand about what you do. Not only are you the best impressionist I've ever known, and one of the funniest people I've ever had the pleasure of having on the shows. You also have to update your act for all these jackasses that get canceled. Now, I'm not sure John Gruden should have been thrown out of football. I think he's a hell of a football coach, but Gruden, right? And obviously Cosby, guys like that, you got to move them out of the act, don't you?
Well, yeah, I do a joke about how times change. One of the jokes that with Cosby is like 20 years ago, I get up here, everybody, I hope he does a Bill Cosby. Now people are looking at me like, I hope he doesn't do a Bill Cosby.
Right.
So there's that. Gruden, what people don't know about Gruden that they're now seeing is that he's a ham. He's an alpha ham if there's ever been one, but he is the rooster coming in the room. I'll tell you what, but he jokes around, and what you miss in those emails are tone, and of course stuff looks bad and can be bad. It might even be terrible, but I've seen people talk it way worse and say lots of worse things. That whole situation's very weird because it was the subject. It was an investigation of the Washington Redskins at the time, and the
Yep.
only thing that came out of it was John Gruden's email. That's just weird. And obviously, the court system, they're looking at that, going, "Yeah, that's kind of weird." And
When it looked like the NFL was looking for somebody to point at and go, "Look what we did. We took."
and it
care
had
of this
nothing to
problem."
do with it had nothing to do with that.
Right.
Very weird. I don't think Goodell likes Gruden. I think Gruden's very outspoken and just tells people what he thinks.
You think he
I do
ever
think
comes back?
I think
I thought the Bears should have hired him. I like Ben, but I thought the Bears should have hired him. You think he ever gets back to football? I mean, Coach Q just got back into hockey.
Yeah, I think everything happens. I mean, it's human beings make mistakes. Human beings do lots of bad things. If you never forgive people, we'd never be able. If everybody was caught, it's when you get caught doing something that it's worse with video. Remember the Ray Rice stuff, and
Sure.
like it sounded bad, but when you see it, it's worse. But I don't know. I think I hate fake apologies too. I think
Right.
fake apologies.
I'm sorry you were offended.
Yeah,
Those tones.
yeah. I do a bit about Barkley. Like he had the best thing in the world when they tried to cancel him. Years ago when he said he wanted to punch Draymond Green in the face. That was
right.
That's a normal thing somebody would say.
Draymond Green hears that several times a day.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. But they went after him, and then his apology was, "I apologize for recognizing Draymond Green has such a punchable face." That's basically what it was. And you realize that Barkley had a cheat code. But if your persona is that of the person who says stuff, you do tend to get more leeway with what you're doing and saying. Trump is that way. Trump created himself. His character is, whether I'm off the rails or whatever, I'm just going to say what I think.
Yep.
And when you're not in political office, if that's your character, just like Charles Barkley, it works all the time. Now, politics is a different thing. And again, none of this makes it all okay, but it's what it is. If we see you, Tiger Woods was seen as this quiet champion, right? Behind the scenes, he was a totally different person. So when stuff comes out about him, it's like people are flabbergasted. They're like, "What? I can't believe this is who this guy is. Well,
Yeah,
you
because
could say something.
they're shocked you found a deeply flawed human being
Yeah.
behind the person you thought he was.
Yeah, you could say things about Trump and people are like, oh, I believe it. Yeah. And they could like him.
Yeah,
They could love him. They could
Yeah.
love him or hate him. The way they go, the way they say it, the way they reply is just different. If they like him, it's like, oh, I believe it. Yeah. If they dislike him, it's like, yeah, I know that. I believe it.
I just want to just throw this out to all of show business, which listens to every episode of my podcast, because I got this whole podcast thing, Frank, you know this. I got this to myself. It's not like anybody who's doing these.
Right. Yeah.
So just if we could throw it out to all of popular culture, show business, sports, I mean, the whole deal. Frank's job is hard. So
I don't know if it's
canceled. Don't get canceled. Don't get canceled. That's all.
I mean, I think there's too many ways to get canceled. I think that's breaking.
I agree with that.
That's going. That's getting less and less of a thing now. Also, because a lot of times when they cancel you, they make you bigger and stronger. Like it's like a Spider-Man villain. And it's funny when the right tries to cancel somebody.
Right, right.
It doesn't really work. It has with some things, but it's almost like, hey, we saw you do this, so this is our version of it. And it's like,
right, it's our
well,
turn now.
You're kind of doing it wrong. If it works, it works. And I'm not defending the super left, because I
like the far right. I've said this to you before. The far right and the far left. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The
Well,
far right and the far left in America. That's the problem.
I watch Bill Maher nowadays, and I disagree with a bunch of things he says, but I go, oh, I'll watch him, because I go, even if I disagree with him on something, I go, he's doing it calmly.
Yep.
And he's like having a conversation.
And he's
with
showing
people.
both sides of a view.
Yeah. And he will do stuff to edge it in his favor, because he's good at that, but he doesn't try to super gotcha people.
Yep.
And that would be easier for him. I think he does a good job of, he's talked about, I wish I did a Bill Maher impression, but he does a good job of saying, listen, I ask people from the right to come on all the time, and they do. I ask people from the left, they won't. And he's
right.
like, I'm even kind of on their team for a lot of stuff.
Right.
But why won't you do that? And I was talking to somebody, a local radio guy who's pretty conservative, but closer libertarianish, but a little more conservative than me, a bit more conservative. And he's like, I'm going to do CNN. I go, well, what are you going? He's like, oh, I'm just going to get crushed. I'm like, well, then why are you doing it? I mean, he's like, well, I guess to see. I was like, okay, but I do know a lot of people who do that kind of stuff, that they go on and just,
I did Fox and CNN for years, and I get a call from Geraldo in my car, and I think, well, it's Frank. He's calling me doing a bit. And it was actually Geraldo who gets a number from somebody else. He had seen me on with Lou Dobbs, who at one point was a friend of mine for a long time. So it's Geraldo, and he says, my producer's going to call you. I want you to come on. Well, all right. Well, that's fine. Producer calls and goes, okay, you're going to be this guy. And I said, I'm sorry, what? I go, no, I'm sorry. I don't do that. You want me to come on and just talk and answer questions and discuss things? Sure, I'll do that. But no, you're going to be this guy, and never got a call. And I said, I'm done. I'm not going to do that. And that's the way people don't understand. That's the way producers book a large segment, if not the majority of those shows.
Well, it's basically to try and get people to bicker, right? So it's a controversy sells, and it's basically trying to get people to be the comment section of a social media post. That's how social media is an issue, I think, personally, because the whole way to get your post, your social media to grow is to get people to fight in the comments.
Yep.
It
makes you think. I mean, I hope your parents got along great, but mine didn't. If there had been cameras and social media when my parents were growing up, they would have been viral from 1946 on.
And that has nothing to do with the internet. That's just the virus.
Yeah, it's the virus. That's exactly right. I was let's plug what you're doing in the greater Chicago area, because the tour is on. I know you're going to Minneapolis, and I also saw this Cactus Jacks in Jackpot, Nevada.
All the big ones, man. That's what
Jackpot, Nevada next to I Busted Out, and now I got to call the wife, Nevada?
Yeah, they have a nice venue, so I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
That's cool. And then at Minneapolis, one of my favorite places. But anyway, you're going to be at the Paramount, the fabulous Paramount in Aurora. And I think you've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, a bunch of times.
It's a great room. It's just a classic, great old vaudeville theater back from the day.
And that's how my act is going to be. And my
doing vaudeville, fantastic. Yeah, that's great.
And I got all my family. So much of my family is going to be there. All the Italians that we can still talk about.
Sure.
Hey Frankie, you want some cheese? You want some cheese with it? Frankie, let's go to,
one of my jokes is like in Chicago, it's the only place I've ever been where you go to get food on your way to get food. You stop.
We're going to stop over at Johnny's Beef on our way to Armand's. You ready?
Yeah, there's usually a Mastacholi station. It's like water cups. It's the water cups in a marathon where they're handing you water cups to survive. They give you a plate of Mastacholi while you're going to get the rest of the food.
And our family would put S's on stuff. You want some Mastacholis?
Right.
The I at the end is the plural. Like I've been in Italy and I'm like, I is plural. So it's Mastacholi. Ravioli would be like raviola or something like that for one.
But it's raviolis here. Yeah, them. Hey, give me a plate of them raviolis.
Yeah, get some raviolis. You got some of that sausage? That's really nice stuff there.
Hey, you guys are in Arizona, right? Family?
Mm-hmm.
So how old are your kids now?
I have no idea.
All right. Well, when you meet them, ask them.
Yeah, right. My son is 21 and my daughter is 19.
Okay. Do they find you funny?
They find my comedy good enough to supply them with money.
I think fantastic. But see, that's the thing that people don't understand. If you are funny for a living, or whatever you do in life, your kids aren't supposed to worship you. Your kids are
my kids do like me. I just went to the F1 Austin race, the
cool.
US Grand Prix in Austin. My daughter is a huge F1 fan. So my kids have access to doing some great things. My son, we go to NBA. Yeah. So they get that whatever I do, my son will. And I'm like, just please don't critique my comedy. It is if it's getting old, that's fine. It's not vaudevillian, it's not cheesy jokes, but I know what works for me. But their version of comedy, what they see as funny is so out there a lot of the time. It'll be like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something that's not too terrible, but two guys, or not two people, probably like, let's say a house is shifting, or a planet is rotating, and it looks like there's a meteorite coming toward it, and suddenly there's an orangutan playing the drums. Like that's
hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, this is genius. I'm like, well, no, it's just random, and it's just surprising. But they don't believe in timing as much either, because the internet has taken out timing. It's just punch, 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 cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. As opposed to me, timing is what's always made me laugh. I could go watch a comedian.
Timing is what's funny.
Yeah, I go watch a comedian. And I see great jokes. I'm like, ooh, that's good. That's good. I don't laugh a ton. I go, God, I wish I'd have thought it. That's brilliant.
Right.
Timing or something goes wrong, I laugh out loud funny. I'm like,
we have created an ADD in this country where it's all laugh-in now. The old laugh-in show from the late 60s and early 70s, where it's joke, boom, joke, boom, joke, boom, joke, boom. And by the time you go, oh, that wasn't that funny, you're already on to the next thing.
And I'll bet you if you went back and watched Laugh-In, you would feel that as fast-paced as it seemed then, I'll bet you it feels like it's going in slow motion now.
It feels like a slow version of TikTok.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. The reason I brought up your kids, though, is because I don't know if you can tell, if you're watching this on YouTube, a pen blew up on my face.
Oh, I can't.
I do see a little bit. So like a 5-year-old, I've got ink on my hands and ink next to my nose. So, it's not like I'm battling age to begin with. So anyway, it's Paramount, ParamountArts.com. ParamountArts.com. Or you can go to your website, obviously.
Frank Onstage. You don't even have to spell Caliendo. It's FrankOnstage.com, and it brings you directly to their website. So FrankOnstage.com.
All right, so we've talked about this a million times. As I said at the beginning, there's nobody better at you than this. But I don't know that I ever asked you, when you were a kid coming up, when you started to realize you could do voices, did you have somebody that you liked? Because, everybody goes, well, Rich Little in the 70s, and then guys that came after that. Those guys seem ancient. I've never seen anybody do it like you, as fast as you, and as good as you. So did you have an idol?
Well, first of all, I think there are plenty of people that are going to pass me up because they have the ability now, and some of them probably have, because I'm not as good as I used to be. I think they have the ability to watch things over and over and over as soon as you want. We used to have to get like growing up, you just watched it and it was gone. So you could only do the main people that everybody
Yep.
knew,
Yep.
and everybody's watching the same things. So there was the same 5 people you would do, or same 10 people. Now people are programmed individually, or it's narrow casting to specific groups, and people don't know all the same stuff. You have access to be able to pull whatever you want up on YouTube or any type of social media. You have research video to look at constantly. At Mad TV, when I was there, we would have to pull videotape on VHS.
Right.
And it might take 2 days to get it, to study the person, because you
Right.
couldn't find it anywhere. Well, now everything's immediately there for you to watch, slow down, speed up. You can just really work on something a ton.
Was there somebody coming up then that you really like, an impression?
Yeah, there's some people. Cameron Logsden's very, very good. He's if you see him, he does some incredible. That Matt Friend guy who's
he is good. Yep.
He's really good. He's got like the persona of a magician almost, though.
Yeah,
So it's
he
kind
looks
of
like Copperfield a little bit.
he's very young, but those two are as good as anybody I've ever seen. Plus, my voice has gotten a little bit raspier and gets tired quicker nowadays. And as far as women go, Marcella Lenz Pope is amazing.
Oh.
She does. There's that Mary Kelly or Mary Cal something.
So they're out there, but I gotta believe you inspired all those guys.
I do find that a lot of people come to me and go, "Oh, you know what? I watched you
Right.
and learned how to do this." And I think but I watched Dana Carvey. I watched Dana. So to go back to your original question, Dana Carvey, who was a more caricature version of impressions. I do go back to Rich Little on the Muppet Show and Love Boat for me. There would be people Saturday Night Live, Phil Hartman, although I never thought Phil Hartman sounded exactly like people, but I did think, or even a lot of times it was not even as close as you thought, but he sold it so much better.
100% commitment plus character.
And that Will Ferrell, who's not really an impressionist, but he would sell things so much and just be funnier than everybody in the world that, I mean, he would be the first person to tell you that he's not a Daryl Hammond. But it doesn't matter because he's just so funny. You're intrigued to see what he's going to do with it. Jim Carrey, huge influence.
Sure.
And I think
who was the first person to tell you were really good? You know, where you went, oh, okay, I buy it. Or are you still looking for that guy?
I'm still waiting. Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously, I carry no weight with that. I've told you it twice.
No, yeah, you tell me too much that it doesn't even matter anymore. It's
right,
it's like my mom telling me.
Wow.
I don't know. I never like anything I do, or it takes me a lot to try and like something I do. I'm that type of person, which is not a very healthy way to look at things. I wish I had the ability to just turn off what other people think in terms of, that stuff.
You don't look at comments, do you?
Sometimes, but I mean the negatives. I mean, I did a thing with Jay Moore recently. I did his podcast, and we were both doing Pacino's. And his Pacino is fantastic, but I was kind of just throwing out my just bland generic Pacino, and I hadn't done it for a while. A lot of these I don't do very much, and his was so good, and mine was just kind of just talking, and it's not really getting all the way there. And he was hitting the S's and understanding where we're coming from. And
was he doing loud Pacino? You're doing quiet Pacino?
I was kind of doing loud, and I was just, but his was I have all those different elements, but I was just trying to get the bit out, right? But they put it out, and I actually put it out as dueling Pacinos, but it was their post, but I posted it. And as soon as you do that, it's a confrontational thing where people are like, his is better. I'm like, but I saw some of those comments. I was like, yeah, listen, his is fantastic there. I'm just kind of doing a generic thing. And then people are like, as soon as you engage with them, they take that to be like, well, I just want to take this time to tell you, I've never thought you were good. I was like, all right. If that's what you got to do, nobody's going to dislike me more than me, so you're never going to win that.
Right, you can't catch up.
Yeah, it's so. But
you're in a spot that's interesting to me because most comedians don't have this. I mean, everybody that does this, and I do this still. As a matter of fact, we have a show coming up. Here's my cheap plug at the Copley, right across the street from the Paramount on November 17th. So get those tickets as well at ParamountArts.com. But the fact is, you're like a touring rock band. And you mentioned this briefly, but there are people that have favorites, and listen, I love Barkley, I love Goldblum, I love those two voices as much as anything you do. But if you don't do those, then somebody maybe is going home in a car going, "Oh, you didn't do Stairway to Heaven."
Yeah. Yeah, I've accidentally, I remember doing a show in Houston where I forgot to do Madden like 20 years ago. I had to go back up on stage and do something because I was like, here's a guy who forgot to do this voice. I felt terrible because I was like, I just realized I hadn't
Right.
done it. So, and that's what
Well-
they, that's what they want to see. So for me, you can do new things with it. You don't have to do the same original bit, but and what I talk about now is how people know me for that impression, and then talk about how I deal with that. So it's even more personal. But doing the original, here's a guy who, when he puts his contacts in, he can see better. I'll throw that out there for corporate events to,
Right.
to kill some time because they're tougher audiences. But yeah, it's just finding, and the Madden movie coming out with Nicolas Cage starring as John Madden. That's going to be incredible. Hey folks, John Madden here. And they'd actually called me to talk to him over Zoom, and I was like, no. And they're like, why not? I'm like, I want to meet Nicolas Cage. If I'm going to help him with a Madden voice,
Yeah, 100%.
I got to hang out with him. I want to, ride sidecar to the Ghost Rider there in Vegas, Leslie Stahl walk and talk. Let's do
And I
that.
think, I think your head's got to catch on fire. I think at some point, that's part of a Nicolas Cage thing. I knew Billy Joel, or I know Billy Joel a little bit, and he told me several times. He goes, "Look, I get it, just the way you are. Everybody loves it." He goes, "You got to understand, I'm sick of it. If I could do a concert without playing it, I'd do it. You got a voice you don't want to do anymore?"
Not really, but I got to tell you, I watched that Billy Joel documentary.
I thought it was great.
Incredible. And I went to see him. I haven't seen a lot of concerts. I'm not a great music. I mean, the first concert I ever really went to was with my kids to the Wiggles. I mean, that's how bad it is.
And of course, it's a shame what crack did to that group. A bunch of addicts.
So so I'm watching. I would go to see Billy Joel, and I'm just like, this guy is maybe the greatest entertainer I've ever seen.
Amazing.
I'm sitting, he is just having fun, goofing around, self-deprecating, bouncing around, changing lyrics, doing I mean, it's just so, it's like you're just hanging out with a guy at Chase Field in front of 70,000 people. He's just hanging out like you're in his living room and he's goofing around.
And he's having more fun than anybody.
Oh my, it's unbelievable how great he was.
By the way, do you see it? I get Billy Joel all the time.
Yes, actually, a little bit. Yeah. When you said Billy Joel, I actually saw a little Billy Joel. But in terms of, is there something I get to? Not really. I mean, on TV, because they would always ask me to do the Madden. Len will be like, "You gotta do some Madden, you gotta do some Madden, yeah, do the Madden." And so I do the Madden. You gotta do me, and then do Madden, do me talking to Madden. That'd be funny,
right.
I think.
Yeah. Thanks, Jay.
So yeah, I don't really care as long as that was an accidental RFK. Did you hear that?
You got a little RFK in there, yeah.
So I don't really care as long as the people like it. I do it so people can. I don't really do the stuff so much for me. I mean, a lot of comedians, I think, I wish I had some of that where you go up there and you do it for yourself. I just kind of do it to make people laugh, and I don't
kind of the business. Yeah. Do you have a rock solid?
But I think there's an element of people really do it for themselves. Like Carson used to say, I need it. I need the applause.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't. If I could, I would just. Yeah, and that's like my goals in Hollywood or show business were always just to be a guest on talk shows.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really want to be like the greatest comedian ever. I had no thoughts of that. I don't even like ranking people. Like I'm like, when you get into that competition, everybody sees things differently. Sometimes there's a glaring, this person is better, but everybody has their own opinions of what they like and what they don't like. And who am I to tell them, what's wrong or whatever. But I don't know. I just go out there, have fun, and I want the audience to have fun. And I don't think that's always what some comedians want to teach you, and some are good at that. Some want you to think their way. I liked 70s Steve Martin, where it's just I'm just going to be goofy. You're not going to learn anything. I'm just going to be, but I also loved Carlin, and even if I didn't agree with
Right.
something Carlin was saying, I go, gosh, that's great how he picked that out and then rearrange, made you think in a totally different way. So I do like those elements of somebody making, but like a Nate Bargatze, like he's just making people happy,
Right.
and he's not trying to be controversial in any way. He's
And I
just
think I
going
love
out there.
about Nate too. If you read Nate's act instead of saw Nate's act, you'd go, okay. But when you
Yeah,
see him deliver it, it's just this nice guy on stage making fun of himself, making fun of his wife, and it's
yeah,
all relatable and it's all funny.
yeah, and I mean, there's
And
people
it's
like that
clean
too.
too, which
Yeah,
which you do clean. I mean,
yeah,
it cleans harder to looks, boys and girls.
yeah. I mean, he and Gaffigan are so prolific. These
Yep.
guys. I mean, I look at them and I just go, Lewis Black could do that too. Where you could just kind of go up Lewis Black even more because Lewis Black could turn anything into a bit just by getting angry. You
Right.
stupid, he just the
Right.
fingers would cross and he'd cross the streams and everything would be going and it would be. Um,
I just did a show
I
with Lewis Black a few months ago in Tucson, and he's closer to 80 than he is
yeah,
70.
yeah,
He's still killing it.
oh, yeah.
And it's not just I'm Lewis Black laughs. He's getting legitimate laughs.
Oh yeah. But he can turn anything into a bit though because he has this point of view and he can just make it. He can go up there and talk. It's harder than just that, but it's easier for him than somebody like me where they're always expecting the next voice, which is why I try to work on more me stuff and talk as
Sure.
myself and have jokes. Because if you're only waiting for the impression, it's all set up and then I have to have a new voice all the time, as opposed to a new take on something. A new take or a new bit for a comedian who is more of a monologist or even a character in their monology. You kind of go in and out. The audience has an advanced thought of what you're going to say, and then you either join that or you go the opposite. It's like watching Cheers. You kind of knew what all the characters were going to say, and you couldn't wait for them to say the
Yeah.
line.
Right.
And
Right.
then sometimes they go the opposite or different. You're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, and you're like, this is just great writing.
It was tremendous writing because they wrote for everybody to stay in their lanes, and you never made it. It was never boring.
Yeah.
Even though they were in their lanes, you know exactly who they were. And like you said, you were waiting for it. How do you decide what you open and close with? Does it depend on the night?
Yeah, I mean, I'll usually close with because I'll let the audience call out impressions that I haven't done. And I explain to them I'm a magician, not a sorcerer. What's the difference? A magic trick takes time to work on and over and over and over till you can get somebody to believe that they saw something they didn't. And for me, it's they heard something they didn't. And sorcery doesn't exist. So I can't just conjure up an impression
Right.
out of nowhere.
Who yelled one out to you that you go, I don't do that?
I do. I say all the time. I say, listen, if you've heard me do it, I can do it tonight or try. Most likely I can. If you've never heard me do it, I probably am not able to.
But if somebody yells out Taylor Swift,
then I am done.
but
It's
that's
one of
a
those
laugh
things.
for the crowd because the crowd gets it.
Yeah, I'll make a joke or something like something like that in that situation potentially, or just go to you guys are just calling out random stuff. Do my neighbor Bill, and then start.
Which, by the way, you still don't have down, do you?
No, I've never been able to get the bill down.
No, the neighbor Bill. Looking forward to another great show from you at the Paramount. As I said, it's a great room. I'll be out front parking cars. But you've been a great friend for years, and I appreciate it. You look great. I know you're still out there, man. Minneapolis and Cactus Jacks.
Yeah,
just
right.
part of the tour coming. What's the website again?
FrankOnStage.com.
FrankOnStage.com. And I tried never to make you this guy, but I got to hear a little Goldblum as we go.
Oh, yes, of course. Why? Why? My favorite letter. And why is it my favorite letter? Because you think it's a vowel. You do. But it's a vowel in where it's like candy, but a consonant in a word like yet, candy. Consonant, vowel. Ooh, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes why, not always why.
He is the best. You own that voice.
I don't know. Lots of people saying that's the funny thing too. Used to be people own the impressions, and there's actually a guy who did it. Elon Gold is probably the best Jeff Goldblum I've ever seen, and I was doing one, and then I was doing mine, and then I saw his, and I was like, oh, I don't even know if I should do this anymore. His was because he looks kind of like him to start.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so good. But now everybody just does every impression. Like you used to own an impression. If you got it on TV first, it was yours.
Yeah.
Now people do impressions of me and Dana Carvey and maybe Jay Farrow and other people doing impressions, Ari Spears. They do impressions of our impressions, and you're going,
Yep.
well, no, that's not actually that's like
It's
that's
lifting
like
a joke.
yeah, people don't see it that way anymore. That's my other theory about social media and like TikTok, the whole thing about TikTok, and you can make fun of me if this is too much of a conspiracy theory for you. But it's right, a company that's got Chinese roots and the government of
Yeah.
China.
Yeah.
And they're all against, like, there's the copyright and everything there is next on nothing. Well, the marketplace of ideas in what we've always thought of as, an intellectual property of some sort.
Yeah.
You can parody and stuff like that. But the whole point of TikTok at first was to lip sync other people's stuff. And a trend, what they call a trend, is really just stealing and
Right.
doing even if you are slightly derivative, you're just taking somebody else's idea and
That's
quote
not a
unquote
conspiracy. That's
doing
a
the
fact.
trend.
It's an absolute
And-
fact. And you know what it is? It's a second cycle of when everybody started downloading music for free. And then what's the big deal?
Right.
It's out there. I'll just take it. Well, the big deal is it's like you walk into a Tower Records, if they still existed, and you walk out with an album.
Yeah.
You're stealing it. Same way you're stealing now.
Yeah, and people don't see it. People don't see it that way at all. And so
Sons
you
of
kind of have
bitches.
to, like, if somebody did a great impression, I can't think of the guy's name, and it always bothers me because I can never think of his name, but he does a great Bill Maher. So I was like, I'll never try and do a Bill Maher because this guy's so good at it.
What's a sense
And
of honor, too?
yeah, I'm like, that's just too good. It's just too good. I don't want to be influenced by what he did. I could probably create my own, but I just feel like he's got it. Then I've seen like 5 or 6 other Bill Mahers, none of them as good as his, but I'm going, well, that's weird to me now because he had this and maybe he unlocked it for other people to figure it out. Because once you unlock that,
Yeah, that's a great point.
you find the little trigger thing. I always tell people the mouth tells you how they talk, the eyes tell you how they think.
You
So
told me that
Jeff,
once, and I was
yeah.
trying to get it. It's the pizza, the slice of pizza.
The pizza slice, yeah. But the mouth, if I did Jeff Goldblum like this, just talking like this, you hear it. Yes, you do. But as soon as I had the eyes darting around and thinking, it gives me the places to what? Give me the places to pause. My newest thing with him is he's a tour guide and a tourist all wrapped up into one. He's like, what's
Okay.
that? Oh, the Statue of Liberty. Do you have anything to tell me about that? Of course I do. It's on a piece of paper right here. Thanks for taking the trolley. So it's like, what's the bit and what's the point of view of the person? And it kind of unlocked that for lots of people. But then I kind of joined the thing. It was like, well, people were starting to just do impressions of me doing impressions. So I was like, well, I'm going to teach you how to do this impression and at least get credit for people. But then nobody footnotes you. Like if somebody
No, you're not
were
gonna
to
get credit, right.
footnote you, give you some kind of credit, it would be one thing, but they don't. It's just like they tell me personally, they'll, send me a message. Oh yeah,
Hey, man,
I
that's
saw
so
you
great.
do this. I saw you do this, and it made me think of this. I'm like, well, if you watch Seinfeld do a joke about a pet and cleaning up after the pet, would you then do a cleaning up after the pet? But it's
Right.
not. It doesn't work that way with impressions at all. People openly say, "Oh, I watched this person. I watched Ari Spears do this, and that's how I figured it out." I'm like, well, yeah, he. Okay, now you're doing it in your act.
Yeah, you
It's
just
one thing to
stole.
do
You
it-
just stole
yeah.
part of his act.
Yeah, that bother it just, and it never will not bother me, but it's nobody cares anymore. People just don't care. It's
Damn it, I care.
yeah, well,
I care.
one person
I forgot
cares.
though. I forgot though.
But
You don't
that
care.
guy's parking cars at the Paramount Theater.
Yeah, you don't care. It's the Paramount Theater. It's October 28th, and if you're in Minneapolis,
Is it the 28th? No, is it the 25th?
Is it 25th?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. It's 25th.
This Saturday.
That's right. And again, go to your website, which is
frankonstage.com.
you can get your tickets right there, and then come see me and a couple of my friends at the Copley across the street on November 17th and get your tickets, not through Frank, but through ParamountArts.com. How would Charles Barkley end a podcast?
I think that we did a pretty good job, but I'm just glad that ESPN is not changing what we do. That's what's really good.
Chuck, you've earned a nap. Take the rest of the day off.
I'm ready for a nap, knucklehead.
That's terrible.
I can't believe I just got interviewed by Bill and Joel.
You're the best, buddy. Thank you for this.
Awesome. Thanks. Good to talk to you.